Hello, everybody. Mayor David Mitchell here. Going to try something new today. This is our pilot program for what I'm calling a Mayor's Monthly. I would like to say that it was this great idea that I had, but in fact, I had a conversation with Mayor David O'Meary of Jasper. I saw the video that he had done, which he does on a weekly basis. I'm going to start by trying it on a monthly basis. Thought it was a great idea, so going to try to implement that here in Columbiana. This is the pilot, if you will, proof of concept. So you may see some changes in how we do this going forward, but I hope you get some use out of it. So let me just kind of tell you what it is that we're trying to do and what the concept is. So what the purpose of this monthly video report is to communicate and inform. So we want to tell you about what's going on in Columbiana. I don't want necessarily always hear from me. I hope to always be able to bring some other people in from businesses around the community, folks on the city staff, etc., to just sort of help communicate to you what's going on, more information than you would otherwise see on a flyer or on our website or Facebook page or something like that. The other thing, which I'm adopting again from Mayor O'Meary, is I want to be able to answer questions from you. I know people have questions about what's going on in Columbiana. Why did we do this? Why did we do this? Why don't we do that? And you can submit those questions. Again, details still to come as we try to iron this process out. But essentially what we're probably going to do is have a box where you can submit those questions on our website, most likely. And then we'll take those questions and we'll be able to respond to them on this monthly. And then finally, the last part of this is we're also going to use it as a promotional video to promote the city of Columbiana. So hopefully we'll be able to highlight some of the great things that we've got in our town, put it out there on social media and websites and things so that others can see it, and link this video to a variety of different websites and social media so people can see all the great things that are going on in Columbiana. So what's going on? So one of the biggest things that we have going on, at least from my perspective right now, is a project called Recreation Economy for Rural Communities. Back in 2021, Columbiana submitted a grant application to the EPA, and it's not for a bunch of money. It was for assistance. It was a planning grant and assistance to help us plan a strategy, if you will, on how we could link southern Shelby County's outdoor recreation, arts, entertainment, and tourism into something that's going to benefit all the communities in Columbiana, especially as far as economic development is concerned. We had our first workshop, or we had a workshop last month at the Old Mill Square, and we developed basically 4 primary goals, and we had teams of folks from Montevallo, from Calera, from Columbiana, from Lay Lake, which is the area of southern Shelby County that we're trying to link. And we came up with these major goals and objectives, and then we came up with some actions on what we wanted to try to do. We're going to make sure that those goals and objectives are on the website, but the most important thing that I want to ask you today is we really, really want participation from a broad cross-section of the community. So anybody who is interested in participating in these workshops and these projects that we have, we've now established 4 separate teams for the 4 distinct goals that we're working on. I'm asking you, send me an email, go to our website, you can get my email address, you can read about this, you can contact Allie Payne at the Senior Center, and we'd be happy to add you to one of these teams because we really want your input, we want your ideas, and there's a huge diversity of ideas and experience and strength that I think is going to come to help us actually get some of these things done. I'm really excited about the potential there, and it's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's going to happen over probably a period of years. So the next thing that's going on is we've engaged an urban development company called Orchestra Partners. Orchestra Partners has had some success in Birmingham. They've had success in projects in Jasper, Gadsden, Phoenix City, Alabama, and it's more of a tactically focused type effort to develop a vision plan and allow us to be able to focus on a specific area of town. What's really exciting to me is everything that we want to do, even going back to the RERC project, requires money. And as a small town, Columbiana does not have a lot of money. So the orchestra partners helps in creating an investment fund so that we can get people to come in and invest in our community and give us the seed money to get some of these initiatives happening or get them started. And finally, there's a third phase that we would decide whether or not we wanted to pay for separately, and that would be the implementation phase. So once we come up with the plan and we can form the investment fund, now there's an implementation process, and we will have to decide if and to what degree that we might want to engage orchestra partners for those. So all of those things, I hope, are going to help us do some things that's going to excite everybody in Columbiana. We're going to do some great things, and you're going to be able to see what all is going on around town and what the future looks good for the city. So again, what's going on? We have a major project going on for the upgrade of our wastewater treatment plant. From a capacity perspective, we've been in pretty good shape for a long time, and we didn't expect to have any capacity issues for the next year, but we actually had some infrastructure issues, and we began to see some leaks in the liner and the ponds in the wastewater treatment plant that potentially created a big problem. The fix is very, very expensive, and again, something that Columbiana doesn't have a lot of money for. So we were able to get from the state of Alabama, ADEM, a combination in grant and loan. And so the project's about $5.25 million. It'll take us actually a couple of years to get this thing completed. But half of that money is a direct grant from the Alabama Department of Environmental Management, ADEM, and the other half of it is from the state revolving fund. It's a low interest rate loan, 1.99%, which is a great deal nowadays as interest rates are going up. So that's a big project for us, and it's something that's essentially going to help us update our infrastructure and our wastewater treatment plant, our sewage treatment, and it should last us for decades to come. You may have noticed that we've had some paving projects going on around town. We did quite a bit year before last. We really didn't get our paving projects implemented last year, but we got started on them early this year. And we've run into some issues. And what the issues are is Columbiana is an old community. And many of our, what I call legacy residential areas that have been around for a long time, when they were built way back in the day, they didn't even have paved roads. And as the city paved the roads, at the time that was done, and this is true for most cities and towns in the state of Alabama, we just put some pavement on them, and we didn't really think about the base underneath that. So in some areas where we have milled off the pavement, just a very small amount of milling took us down to basically just the dirt. There was no base underneath the asphalt surface. And we also found that we had some pretty spongy ground. In other words, we didn't have a proper base to be able to support an asphalt road. So we're going to be fixing that this year. It's going to cause us to make some adjustments to our budget, and we're waiting for sort of the weather to dry out to fix one of the projects that we started, but we couldn't finish because of that. And we're going to be digging the road bed down about 2 to 3 feet, and we're going to be putting a solid base in there, repaving it, and it's going to create a nice solid road bed for us, and hopefully is going to help us to solve some storm drainage issues that we have at the same time. The last big project that we've got going on from an infrastructure perspective is mitigating stormwater issues, flooding caused when we get heavy rains. The American Rescue Plan Act to the City of Columbiana got a little bit over $1 million. It was given to us, part of it in 2021. The second half of it was given in 2022. We have to obligate the funds, that little over $1 million. We have to obligate those funds by the end of 2024, and we have to have actually expensed those funds, in other words, spent the money, by the end of 2026. And what we chose to do, because of recent flooding issues that we've had here in Columbiana, we chose to use those funds to help us mitigate some of the stormwater problems that we have. And they're significant around the town. And we generally know where they are, but water has to come from someplace, it has to go someplace. And oftentimes, in trying to deal with those things, we create other problems. And we also don't necessarily have a water management plan in the city. So if somebody develops a piece of property that's not part of a formal development like a subdivision, they could sometimes create water problems for their neighbors. So we engaged an engineering firm, CDG Engineering, and they're used by a lot of municipalities in Alabama to do a study of our stormwater infrastructure, which is mostly ditches in Columbiana, and then come up with some recommendations. Well, we began looking at, okay, how could we mitigate a 100-year flood? And then we said, well, that's the amount of money you'd have to spend on that would be too much, and probably still wouldn't solve the problem. So let's look at a 25-year flood. And so we looked at that and said, man, that's really still going to be real expensive for the problems that you have in Columbiana. Did a lot of sophisticated modeling of rainfall and where the water comes from, where it goes, how it flows, et cetera, et cetera. And we still didn't think that that it would have been cost prohibitive to try to develop a plan to do to mitigate a 25-year flood. So we took it down to a 10-year storm. And even so, the results came in at over $10 million as far as what it's going to take us to fix that in Columbiana. We've got $1 million right now to spend. So what we've done is we've got with the engineering firm and we've picked what we think is our most critical area, and we're developing a plan that we can implement hopefully within the next year that will help us at least mitigate some of the stormwater problems that we have on Depot Street and College Street in front of the Piggly Wiggly. It's going to take some time to do that, and it's going to use up all of our ARPA money. And for all the other things that need to be done, we're probably going to have to budget for them slowly over time, while at the same time trying to take advantage of federal grants that can help us to get the funds that we need to do some of these critical infrastructure type projects that need to be done just by virtue of the fact that we're an old town, and the small towns that don't have lots of money to spend on infrastructure, we end up sort of patching things up as time goes by. We're still having to do that, but we're going to try to fix these things properly as best we can. So that's about it for now. So just wanted to remind you that hopefully we'll be doing this on a monthly basis. You'll be able to see this on our website. It'll be on a YouTube channel, and there'll be a link to that. We're going to provide you access to where you can ask questions. And if you have any suggestions, ideas of anything that you'd like to hear about, please let us know. So I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great month. And hopefully I'll see you again next month.